Hi, my name is Bartek. I am founder of Dwarf Solutions and also founder of e-homestead software for small farms. In this tutorial, we will show you how to manage your farm from garden design through crop planning up to building community around your farm. So, welcome to our first episode and let's get started. In this episode, we will be talking about the main principles in a small farm design, how it looks like step by step. So uh, later on during that episode, I will be using a homestead software to show you how to handle all those information inside of our software. But let's start from pen and paper. So obviously our imagination has no limits, but the real life has. So we have to know what our farm can offer us, how much space we have for our gardening. So let's do some small simple drawing. Let's say that our imaginary farm has a very simple shape, like this one. Here we have a house. There is a street. Then we have some neighbors. Okay, so let's just mark them. And there is also other side of the street. So we may want to add replace our garden. Let's say here that will be our backyard. And here we want to have some place for small veggies, for herbs, and we will call this front yard. It's a front, and this one is a backyard. What we have to know about our farm is also orientation, where the north and where the south is. So let's say that it looks like this, north and south. This is important because we have to know from which side we may expect a sunlight. So if the north is here, so sun will go from here to here. Actually, in opposite direction from the east to west. Yeah, but there will be as sun walk on horizon. Okay, so that we already know. What we also have to know are any objects that can make a shade on our garden beds. So let's say that our neighbor has a house here, some trees over there. We don't have trees, we have just some, let's say, bushes. Okay, there's another house and another big tree. So what we have to do, we have to estimate, we have to check where the shade of those objects is during the season. So we have to take a round and measure it. We can also draw it, and it is very good to do this exercise twice, during the winter and summertime. So let's say that now we are drawing the summertime shades. Yeah, so if sun is going from here, so the objects make a shade like this. And the same is here. Our house as well. So it's more like this. Yeah, so we don't care about the other part of the shade. So that's what we have during the summertime. But also it is important to know how long the shade will be during the winter time. That information will give us, that will allow us to estimate how and actually when we can start seeding and planting in our garden. So let's say that the winter time shade will be way longer, something like this, and also here. Yeah, maybe even like this. Okay, so that part will be covered between summer and the winter. Okay, and if you would like to place a greenhouse, let's take a green color. Yeah, let's say here. It is very good practice to have the longer side of the greenhouse oriented to the south. Yeah, we cannot. It should be, that will be probably the perfect time, but our orientation of our plot isn't strictly north-south. So let's keep it like this. Greenhouse is cooling down at night, so it is nice to have sunlight in the early morning hours, just to start warming up our greenhouse. Then to have the sunlight during the day. But just based on our experience, I strongly recommend to somehow cover the western side, this one, because that may cause overheating, because we were already heating up everything inside of the greenhouse for the whole day, and at the evening it is very likely to overheat, and maybe we may even need some active cooling, that the passive ventilation may not be good enough. So that's what we have to know about our farm. Yeah, and so let's take a tape measure and see what we have. So let's say that our backyard has 15 meters by 8 meters. It's like 50 feet by 26 feet, and the front yard has 10 meters by 5 meters. It's more or less 32 feet by 16 feet. So that's all what we need to even think about the further planning. And I will show you now how to transfer that very basic information into a homestead, and how we will use it in the next chapter, talking about the garden beds and the garden beds groups in general. Let's log into our homestead. Okay, here we are. Now we are talking about the garden section, garden module. There's also microgreens. Let's take a look on a garden. Here we have calendar, plants, season planning, but now what we need to do is to add some sites. Here we have option add new site. There are very basic information. Let's call this back, and let's say it's our home. Yeah, there are no bed blocks. We will be talking about the bed blocks in the next episode. And new site, let's say it's a front, also at home. And we added also a greenhouse, so we separate this as a third logical unit. So also in our home. If you like what we just presented, leave us a comment please in the section down below. And also there's a written version of this tutorial. You will find out the link in a description box below that video. So Thanks for watching and see you next time.